G'day trainers and welcome back to another episode of Pokegeography, the series where we take an in-depth look at the towns, cities, and landmarks of the Pokemon world. Today we're going to be exploring Lavender Town, possibly not only the scariest and most haunted town in the Kanto region, I'd wager a bet the scariest and most haunted town in the entire Pokemon world. Let's go take a look at everything that this spooky town has to offer. Lavender Town is a very small area in the northeast of the Kanto region, just a little south of the Rock Tunnel and the Kanto Power Plant. Lavender Town is known as the Noble Town, and their slogan being, the colour of nobility. Lavender Town is mostly famous for two things, the first being the Pokemon Tower, which we will discuss in just a few moments, and potentially the largest myth or urban legend that's ever been born from the Pokemon franchise. Please take this as a trigger warning, as this urban legend can be rather upsetting to a few people. Please keep in mind that actual proof of these events occurring has not actually been shown, and it's all speculation or word of mouth. This urban legend or myth is known as Lavender Town Syndrome, and that being, according to the legend, Lavender Town Syndrome was born when about 100 Japanese children from roughly the ages of 10 to 15 years jumped to their deaths, hanged themselves, or mutilated themselves a couple of days following the release of Pokemon Red and Green. Other children supposedly complained about nausea, severe headaches, vomiting or coughing up blood, and more. Quote-unquote officials eventually discovered that children hurt themselves or felt ill after listening to the Lavender Town's background music. The urban legend states the original Lavender Town theme contains high-pitched tones that compels kids to lose their mind. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but anyone that has heard that music probably sounds a little less crazy. It's very creepy. And look, there is a lot more to this, and I'm planning a video that outlines the entire legend, so stay tuned for that. Regardless if this is true or not, the Lavender Town theme is still the single scariest piece of music I've ever heard in my life. I still literally get goosebumps and a shiver goes down my spine when I listen to it, especially with wearing noise-cancelling headphones. Lavender Town doesn't have a Pokemon gym to challenge, but that doesn't mean it's not an important mark on the Kanto map. The largest and biggest, for lack of a better word, attraction, is the Pokemon Tower, a 7-story burial ground for Pokemon that have passed on. Those that call Lavender Town home come nearly daily to pay their respects to their fallen friends. There are rumours that this town is haunted by ghosts, and while you can find many ghost-type Pokemon here, they're not the cause for this haunting. As with many tragedies in Kanto, this rumour spread due to Team Rocket disgracefully breaking in and trying to steal Cubone that lived here. They were doing this as the skulls that Cubones wear are incredibly valuable. However, the mother of one Cubone, a Marowak, which is the evolved form of a Cubone, was hell-bent on protecting her child. During this encounter though, the mother Marowak died from a beating of a stun baton. Upon the death of this brave Marowak, her spirit was enraged and her fury grew great. She lost her sense of self and began to haunt the Pokemon Tower. That is, until Pokemon Trainer Red did battle with his apparent apparition, and upon weakening it enough, the Cubone, which had remained in the tower, refusing to leave its mother, had rushed in and was able to set its mother's spirit free. This tower is where Pokemon Trainer Blue went missing. Inside Pokemon Tower in the manga, there seems to be one of the most disturbing types of Pokemon, and that's the zombie type. The ghost here is able to possess decaying Pokemon corpses and use them to battle its foes. The manga does get fairly graphic with this scene and shows a half-decayed Psyduck that is then hit with an acid attack, further mutilating its physical form. This is when Red and Blue discovered that not only was this attack led by Team Rocket, but not just any member of Team Rocket, they were an elite member who also happens to be a member of the Kanto Elite Four, none other than Poison-type Master Koga. In the anime, Pokemon Tower is much less depressing and seems to be home to a Ghastly, Haunter, and a Gengar, which Ash befriends. To be fair, it's still a messed up moment as Ash and Pikachu both die. Yeah, you heard that right. Our main protagonist dies and becomes a ghost themselves. Eventually though, Haunter returns Ash and Pikachu's spirits to their bodies, and somehow they come back to life. It's never really explained. I briefly touched on it in the Vermilion City video, but this is where the second part to my favourite Pokemon theory takes place, involving Blue's Raticate, so keep an eye out for that video. 3 years after the events of the Mother Marowak finding peace, and the residents of Lavender Town have done something that even I, someone with a pretty messed up sense of humour, finds really offensive and disturbing. They turned the Pokemon Tower into the Kanto Radio Tower. Now others may disagree, but it just feels like this was a really bad political move for the mayor of Lavender to make. This radio tower is very similar to the one located in Goldenrod City in the Johto region, and the upper floors are completely inaccessible in an attempt to prevent a similar takeover and hostage situation that happened in Johto. This radio tower also broadcasts a very important frequency, and that is that of the Pokeflute. This way, anyone with a Pokegear is able to tune in and wake sleeping Pokemon that may be in their way. The graves of the hundreds of Pokemon that were laid to rest here were later moved to the House of Memories, a new dedicated building with a welcoming presence still located in Lavender Town. This is a much more peaceful resting place as there are no wild Pokemon and trainer battles inside are absolutely prohibited. Pokemon do not like being in here though. The longer you stay, your partner Pokemon will start to get a bit more upset, a little more agitated with you, and it will actually start to get angry. There is a charitable organisation set up here called the Lavender Volunteer Pokemon House. It's located in central Lavender Town and was founded by Mr. Fuji himself in order to take care of abandoned and orphaned Pokemon. This is where the baby Cubone from the Pokemon Tower will eventually come to live. This was built into Mr. Fuji's own house, as all he wants is to make sure no other Pokemon go through what this poor Cubone had to. The Kanto Name Raider also lives in Lavender Town and will allow trainers to officially update their Pokemon's nicknames. However, if a trainer obtained their Pokemon from a trade, then he will refuse to change its nickname. He is apparently a man that truly believes in true loyalty and will not allow a bond like that between a Pokemon and the one who caught it to be broken. The town's population differs a lot. It first starts off with 41 residents, as this town attracts a lot of people with strong religious beliefs. But once the Pokemon Tower was converted to the Kanto Radio Tower, people started to move on, and the population was last measured and recorded with 30 full-time residents here. Mr. Fuji was able to get his hands on a Keystone and a Charizardite X, which originates from the Kalos region. Thankfully he did though, because this plays a huge role in the battle that Red has against Mewtwo, and if he didn't have these items, it probably would have ended very, very differently. As a matter of fact, we see exactly how it would have ended, and it was not a good place for Red. There are 3 exits from Lavender Town. To the west is Route 8, where you will encounter a great many Pokemon trainers and even more wild Pokemon. This is where you can find wild Vulpix or Growlithe, and where you'll be able to enter the underground tunnel, which will bypass Saffron City and lead you straight to Celadon City, the home of the 4th official Kanto Pokemon Gym and the natural next stop for Pokemon trainers, but we'll talk about Celadon City in the next video. Route 10 to the north will lead you directly to the Rock Tunnel and the Kanto Power Plant. The Rock Tunnel is a naturally formed cave, which means there's no artificial light. It was most likely built by wild Pokemon just living their best lives. Probably Diglett, Dugtrio and Onix would be my best guess. It's not recommended that you try this path without first beating Pewter City rock specialist Brock and can use Flash outside of battle. Despite its darkness, you will find a lot of trainers inside, and more than a few specialize in ground or rock type Pokemon, so be prepared, bring some water or grass type Pokemon and save yourself a lot of trouble. The Kanto Power Plant had been a long abandoned building, even prior to our first glimpse of the Kanto region. Some of the machinery is still functionable however. How's that for quality made parts? During the 3-year gap between when we first see Kanto and return, the building has been completely refurbished and is up and running. It's needed to provide power to the magnet train that connects the Johto region to the Kanto region. You're only able to access the power plant by surfing along Route 10, making it more difficult as this is home to many wild electric type Pokemon. Most notably though, due to its high electricity output, it has become a roost for the mighty Zapdos, one of the legendary bird trio of Kanto. This plant does put off a lot of toxic waste though and has destroyed lots and lots of Route 9. Route 12 to the south is a very long bridge that many call Silence Bridge. I believe this is meant to be a way to show respect for the fallen Pokemon in the tower. Along Route 12 you will find a small house that belongs to the youngest of the fishing brothers, and if you show a passion for fishing, he'll give you a super rod. Silence Bridge is the exact spot that the Snorlax that had fallen asleep in the Munga, which Red was able to wake up using a honey-filled beehive, which caused the Snorlax to follow Red all the way to the finish line, which ultimately resulted in him catching the big boy. Alright trainers, that was everything we know about the most terrifying town in the Poke world, Lavender Town. If you did enjoy this, please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this. Have a lovely day.